doing MC here on PrizePicks. Before we get started though, there is a link in the description below to sign up for PrizePicks. They will match 100% of your first deposit. Also, Discord link and Patreon link are in the description of this video as well. But let's get into it, you guys. I like 3 total player props that I like on the MLB slate today. We're coming off a night where we hit again 2-0 on our plays. We had Ian Happ as a play here at his hitter fantasy score. He was a DNP. But we did hit on Jose Abreu over 4.5 fantasy points. He had 11. We had Paul Goldschmidt over 8.5 header fantasy score. He had 18. And we had Freddie Freeman over 6.5. He had 9. So that was the Freddie Freeman. If you're in the Discord, once Ian Happ was the DNP, I did recommend Freddie Freeman as a play to add there. So I'm going to just say 2-0 last night, though. Jose Abreu and Paul Goldschmidt. That's 5-0 in our last 5 plays here, so definitely looking to replicate that tonight. But I have 3 total player props that I like. Actually, one of the player props is going to be in this early game, so I'm going to give a 4th player prop. Not officially, but I just do want to give it to you guys as well. But let's get into it. Don't want to waste anyone's time. Got to get this video out as soon as possible. So let's go. So the first play that I like is going to be a hitter fantasy score, and it's going to be Trey Turner. And I'm going to take his over 7.5. Now, again, in this Dodger lineup, Trey Turner, so many different ways for him to score runs, so many different ways for him to get hitter fantasy points. Kind of just the way it breaks down if you're unfamiliar. This is how it breaks down. So Trey Turner obviously can steal bases. He is like 10th in baseball in RBIs, and then he hits for over 300. So Trey Turner obviously in a plus spot here against Milwaukee for a couple of reasons. One, against lefties, he's facing Eric Lauer, and against lefties, Trey Turner bats significantly higher. He bats 328 against lefties, 992 OPS, has 9 home runs, same amount of home runs, but hits 328 against lefties, which you do love to see. And in his career all time against Eric Lauer, he is batting 500 with a 1.200 slugging percentage, 10 plate appearances. He's got 5 hits and 10 at bats, 2 singles, a double, and 2 home runs. He's only struck out once. So I love this spot here for Trey Turner. Dodgers lineup over the last few days has been kind of sluggish, but as a whole they mash left-handers, so I think they kind of bounce back today against Eric Lauer. Tough loss last night for the Dodgers as well. So Trey Turner hitting between Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman gives him a ton of opportunities here to get that hitter fantasy score up. I like the over here on this one of 7.5 for him. The next one is going to be right back to him. It's going to be Paul Goldschmidt and his over 8.5. He went crazy yesterday. I think he had a home run, a couple walks. Let's actually look what he had officially. We had this over. He had a home run, 3 RBIs, and scored a run. So, I mean, 1 for 3, I guess. Not that crazy, but nonetheless, I mean, it's Paul Goldschmidt leading the league in batting average. Actually, now he's 2nd in baseball in batting average. Has a little bit of a slump, I guess, since the All-Star break for Paul Goldschmidt. Picking it up, though, over his last 7 days, 318, last 15 days, 326. That batting average has dipped a little bit. You can see he only hit 286 in the month of July, but August here starting to pick it back up again, 326 batting average. But I also like this spot here for Paul Goldschmidt because in his career against German Marquez, who he's faced a ton of times, right? Very significant sample size here. 43 plate appearances. He's got 15 hits, 8 singles, 4 home runs, 5 walks, 405 batting average in 43 plate appearances. Super, super strong. Yesterday when we took him, I think he was against Kyle Freeland, and he had like 30 plate appearances and hit like 360. So this is an even better matchup for him as far as just his career against German Marquez. 405 batting average, 488 OBP, slugging is 811. Love this spot here for Paul Goldschmidt to produce 8.5 fantasy points. Obviously, he hits in front of Nolan Arenado. So again, like when a player hits, in front or between specific hitters, it to me it creates more value for their hitter fantasy score as opposed to their total bases, just because there's so many ways for hitter fantasy score to get there. So I like both these plays, these hitter plays here for Trey Turner and Paul Goldschmidt over both of their hitter fantasy scores. The next one is going to be, and this is the early game, it's going to be Ranger Suarez. So I do apologize if you're watching this video and this game has already started, but I do like Ranger Suarez here over his projected pitcher fantasy score. For a couple of reasons. One, he has been pitching well. I mean, this is Ranger Suarez. He pitched his last outing against the Mets last Friday. He went 7 innings, gave up 1 earned run, and struck out 4 batters. Nothing too crazy on the strikeouts, but he outdueled Max Scherzer in this game. 7 innings, 1 earned run. Washington, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. I think even this line here would have been good for over 28.5 pitcher fantasy score. You can see he's gotten their team has won in his last 5 outings. And look at these 3 games here in the month of July. 5 innings, 5 innings, 6 innings. No earned runs in all those games. 8 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts, 4 strikeouts. We're coming off a game here where Philly played Cincinnati, and Kyle Gibson last night had 11 strikeouts against the Reds. 11 strikeouts. The Reds are, against left-handers this season, 5th in baseball, 27.5 strikeout percentage. And I would say Ranger Suarez has nastier swing and miss pitches than Kyle Gibson. So this is a great spot for Ranger Suarez at 28.5 pitcher fantasy score. I also like 5 strikeouts for him as well, but I think he goes a little bit deeper in this game. I think Philly can get runs on Nick Lodolo as well, to give Ranger Suarez opportunity for a quality start and a win. So I'm taking the over here, 28.5 pitcher fantasy score for Ranger Suarez. So because this game is the early game, obviously this Paul Goldschmidt play and the Trey Turner play are the night games. This Ranger Suarez game at 9:35, so again, I do apologize if you're watching this video and the game's already started, but I did want to give you a bonus play here that I do like, and that I just think there's value in this. I think it's kind of weird that the line is this low, but it's Michael Kopitch and his over 4.5 strikeouts. Now, again, he's facing the Houston Astros, who I think the Astros, let's see, the Astros against righties this season as a team, lower in baseball, right? They're 25th to 19.8% strikeout percentage against righties. So the Astros, obviously, a very good team, a lot of good bats in that lineup. But like, if we take a quick look here at Michael Kopitch, number one, I mean, his stuff is just nasty, right? If you've watched him pitch or you watched highlights of him pitch, his movement on the ball, his velocity is disgusting. So he has a ton of pitches that are completely swing and miss. But he's coming off a game here. Now, I don't usually like to use most recent game as like analysis for how a player is going to do in his current player prop. But he's coming off a game here against Detroit where he went 6 innings, no hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. Now, mind you, it is against Detroit, but that just goes to show you his stuff is completely swing and miss. And for 4.5 being the line against Houston, I mean, he faced Houston once earlier this season, 5 innings, he had 4 Ks, but I just think it's too low of a line. I mean, he could easily hit 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings, and you're already right there. So I like Michael Kopitch over 4.5 strikeouts here as well. Normally, I only do give 3 total player props here on PrizePicks, but I'm going to give this 4th bonus play only because Ranger Suarez is the early game. Again, it's important to know to tail these lightly, you guys. Mix and match these. Don't necessarily put these all in one line. These are just, plays that I'm personally looking at making. This is not gambling advice. Definitely do like these 4 plays here today, though. Trey Turner over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. Paul Goldschmidt over 8.5 hitter fantasy score. Ranger Suarez over 28.5 pitcher fantasy score. And then Michael Kopitch over 4.5 Ks. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about these player props. Please drop a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, have a great day.